How do you cheat on your girl and get away with it? That sounds like the kind of question asked by someone who has already made several bad decisions and is now looking for a tutorial. But imagine you are not even there yet. You are sitting at lunch with your girlfriend, Alina, and everything is normal. She is eating fries. You are pretending not to steal her fries. Your phone is on the table, screen facing up, because you are an honest person with nothing to hide. Then the phone lights up. One message from a girl named Jenna. The message is not even bad. It says, "Hey, did you finish the history notes?" That is it. 6 normal words. No hearts. No wink face. No secret midnight meeting behind the vending machine. Just history notes. But your body reacts like the phone just confessed to a crime. Your eyes get wide. Your hand shoots across the table faster than any human hand should move during lunch. You slap the phone face down. The whole table gets quiet. Alina looks at your hand. Then she looks at your face. Then she looks back at your hand. And that is the exact moment where a normal person would say, "Oh, Jenna is asking about history notes." But you do not do that, because your brain has decided this is now a spy movie. You smile. Not a regular smile. A smile that looks like your mouth is being controlled by someone who has only read about smiling in a textbook. Alina says, "Who was that?" You say, "Nobody." This is already terrible, because nobody does not send messages. Nobody does not have a contact name. Nobody does not make you attack your own phone like it is trying to escape. Alina raises one eyebrow. It is not an angry eyebrow. It is worse. It is the calm eyebrow of someone collecting evidence. You realize nobody was too suspicious, so you try to improve it. You say, "Not nobody, just a person." Alina says, "What person?" And now you have entered the most dangerous part of any lie. The part where you start adding details. You say, "A school person." She says, "From school?" You nod too hard. "Yes, school. Very school." You do not know why you said very school. Nobody has ever become less suspicious by saying very school. Alina is still calm. She says, "Can I see?" This is where the title of the video enters your mind. How you cheat on your girl and get away with it. Except you are not cheating. You are just behaving exactly like someone who is. Your first plan is to act relaxed. So you lean back in your chair. Too far. The chair makes a horrible scraping sound against the floor. Everyone nearby looks over. You laugh softly, like the chair made a joke. Then you say, "Of course you can see it." But instead of handing her the phone, you pick it up and hold it against your chest. This is not relaxed. This is how a dragon guards treasure. Alina says, "Why are you holding it like that?" You look down at the phone, surprised to discover your own hand. You say, "I am not." You are clearly doing it. Your fingers are wrapped around the phone so tightly the case might file a complaint. At the next table, Marcus notices. Marcus always notices when your life is falling apart. He leans over and whispers, "Bro, just show her." That is good advice. Unfortunately, you are allergic to good advice when you are panicking. You whisper back, "I cannot show her now." Marcus says, "Why?" You say, "Because now it looks weird." Marcus says, "It looks weird because you will not show her." This is also good advice. You ignore it. You decide the best move is to explain before showing anything. You turn to Alina and say, "Okay, listen." Any sentence that starts with "okay, listen," during a relationship problem immediately makes the problem grow legs. You say, "It was Jenna." Alina nods. You say, "But not Jenna like that." Alina says, "Like what?" You say, "Exactly." Nobody knows what that means. Not even you. You continue. "She just asked about history notes, because we have history, and there are notes. And sometimes notes need to be history." Marcus puts his face in his hands. Alina looks more confused than jealous. That is bad, because confusion gives people time to think. You finally turn the phone around. The message is still there. It still says, "Hey, did you finish the history notes?" For one beautiful second, you are saved. Alina reads it. She relaxes. She says, "Okay, that should be the end. That should be where the video stops." But you have already created so much suspicion that your brain wants to justify the suspicion. So you say, "And I was going to tell you." Alina pauses. Marcus slowly lifts his head from his hands. Alina says, "Tell me what?" You say, "About the notes." She says, "Why would you need to tell me about history notes?" You realize you have accidentally made the history notes sound like an emotional affair. So you panic again. You say, "Because honesty matters." This is true, but it is also an extremely strange thing to say about homework. Now Alina is not worried about Jenna. She is worried about why you are giving a courtroom speech over a worksheet. Your second plan is to make everything casual. You pick up your fries. You miss your mouth. One fry hits your hoodie. Another falls into your lap. You nod like this was part of eating. Alina watches silently. You say, "Anyway, people message people all the time. Very normal. Phones exist. Messages happen. Screens light up. Society continues." Marcus whispers, "Stop talking." You do not stop talking. You say, if a girl messages me, that does not mean anything." Alina says, "I know." You say, "Exactly. And if two girls message me, also nothing." Alina's eyebrow comes back. Marcus whispers, "Why did you add a second girl?" You did not mean to. Your mouth is now creating extra witnesses. You say, "Not that there is a second girl, unless my mom counts." Alina says, "Your mom is saved as mom." You say, "Right. Good point." The table goes quiet again. Your third plan is to ask your friends for help. This is the worst plan so far. You turn to Marcus and whisper, "Say something normal." Marcus looks at Alina and says, "He's bad at lying." That is not what you meant. Another friend says, "Extremely bad." A third friend says, "Remember when he said he was at home, but he was literally behind us?" You stare at them. Your friends have become character witnesses for the prosecution. Alina asks, "When was that?" Marcus says, "Last month, but it was not about girls. He was just buying your birthday gift." That is actually sweet. For half a second, the situation improves. Then you say, "Yes, exactly. I hide things for good reasons." The improvement dies instantly. Alina says, "You hide things?" You say, "Gifts." She says, "You just said things." You say, "Gift things." Marcus stands up. He says, "I'm going to get water because watching this is dehydrating me." Your fourth plan is to prove you are trustworthy by leaving your phone unlocked on the table. This could work. You place the phone down. You push it toward Alina. You say, "Look at anything." Alina says, "I do not want to look through your phone." You say, "No, please." Now you are begging your girlfriend to inspect evidence she did not ask for. She says, "I trust you." This should make you feel better. Instead, it makes you more nervous. Because now you are thinking, what if there is something weird on there that is not cheating but still embarrassing? Like your search history. Not bad search history. Just humiliating search history. Things like, why do I sweat when someone asks me a normal question? Or, can a person die from awkward silence? Or, how to look natural while standing. You quickly pull the phone back. Alina says, "What was that?" You say, "Nothing." You have returned to nobody's cousin. Nothing. Alina closes her eyes for 1 second. Not because she is furious, because she is tired. That is worse. Now the whole lunch has become an event. Jenna walks by with her tray. She sees you. She says, "Hey, did you get my message?" You stand up too fast. Your knee hits the table. The milk carton tips over. You catch it with both hands like you just saved a child from a cliff. Jenna freezes. Alina looks at Jenna. Jenna looks at Alina. Marcus returns with water and immediately tries to leave again. You say history. That is all you say, just history. Jenna says, yes, the notes? Alina says, he was very honest about them. You cannot tell if that is a compliment or a warning. Jenna says, okay, cool. Can you send them later? This is another normal sentence. Your brain treats it like a trapdoor opening. You say, publicly? Jenna says, what? You say, I mean, yes. School platform, official routes, transparent systems. Alina slowly looks at Marcus. Marcus says, I told him to stop talking. Jenna says, are you okay? You say, never better. Your voice cracks on better. At this point, nobody thinks you are a criminal mastermind. They think you are a phone notification away from collapsing into a pile of hoodie strings. And that is the truth about trying to get away with something. Even when you did nothing wrong, acting guilty can create a whole mystery out of air. You did not cheat. You did not plan to cheat. You did not even successfully send history notes. But because you tried to manage the situation like a liar, every normal detail became suspicious. The phone became evidence. The fries became witnesses. The milk became a victim. And Marcus became the tired lawyer who never wanted this case. So how do you cheat on your girl and get away with it? You do not. That is the trick. Not because you will definitely get caught by some genius investigation, but because trying to live like you are hiding something turns you into the most suspicious version of yourself. You start guarding your phone from messages about homework. You start saying phrases like very school. You start explaining history notes as if they are classified documents. And eventually, your girlfriend is not even asking, who is Jenna? She is asking, why are you like this? The better question is not how to get away with cheating. The better question is, how do you keep your relationship from turning into a crime scene over nothing? You answer normally. You do not panic hide the phone. You do not recruit friends who are already tired of you. You do not add details nobody asked for. And if something actually is wrong, you say it before your chair, fries, milk, friends, and entire cafeteria testify against you. Because the smoothest way to get away with it is to have nothing to get away with. And if your phone lights up during lunch, maybe just read the message like a person.